So hello, today we'll start a new topic on the fifth module on friction, and today we'll discuss about friction clutches. In the previous class we have discussed about friction in bearings, and about the expression of torque, okay, in different types of bearings. So today we'll discuss about clutches, friction clutches. So this will be your class number 17. This will be a 17th class. So let us start today's topic. So now, what is a clutch? What is a friction clutch, and why it is used? So the friction clutches are generally used for the transmission of power from a driving shaft, suppose from an engine shaft to a driven shaft, or the shaft where we desire to shift the power, and also so its application is found in cases where the power needs to be delivered to the machines which are partially or fully loaded, and also the shafts, the driving shaft also needs to be engaged and disengaged frequently. You must have seen the clutch of a bike or automobile. Now, what this clutch does is that, okay, so this in the automobiles, this friction clutch is used to connect the engine to the driven shaft, or the axle of the automobile. In the friction clutch, the force of friction is the main driving force, and this force of friction is used to start the driven shaft from the rest, and gradually bring it to the proper speed or the desired speed without excessive slipping of the friction surfaces. Now see over here. So now this is the driving shaft, or this is the shaft of the engine from where power will be transmitted. So the engine is the main source of power in an automobile or in any machine. So this is the driving shaft, or the shaft of the engine, and the power needs to be transmitted to this shaft, this driven shaft, okay, which needs to be where the power needs to be delivered. And we also desire to give this driven shaft a proper speed, and this is the clutch arrangement. This dashed thing is the clutch arrangement. It is used to engage this shaft to this shaft, okay, and in very frequent intervals of time. Okay, as you have seen in a bike, this same principle is applicable in a bike. Now see, these are the contact surfaces. Okay, where the frictional force is applied, applies. Okay, and this is the plate. This is the clutch plate. Okay, this is the plate, and these are the surfaces, the friction surfaces. Now this contact surfaces should develop the frictional force and hold the load with low pressure between these contact surfaces. In a clutch, the force of friction that develops in these surfaces, that needs to be dissipated at a very small amount. It needs to be dissipated rapidly. Okay, now this frictional for heat dissipation is a must for the friction surfaces. Otherwise, it will cause damage to the surfaces, and also these surfaces needs to be maintained in such a way that there is uniform distribution of pressure. Okay, so these are the some desirable properties of the friction surface. Now there are different types of friction clutches. Okay, the disc or plate clutch, which I have shown over here, this is a single disc plate clutch. There is also multiple disc clutch. Okay, this is the diagram of the multiple disc clutch. Okay, and there are also other type of clutches like cone clutch and centrifugal clutches. Okay, I will only write the expressions for such clutches. Okay, but I will explain this single disc clutch. Okay, so this is the diagram of a single disc plate clutch, and this is the disc, and these are the surfaces. Okay, so this is the pressure plate, this is the pressure plate, this is spring, okay, this is the crankshaft, so this is the crankshaft, this is the crankshaft, this is the driving shaft. Okay, and this is the pivot. Okay, I will explain this functions of these things. This is the driven shaft, I have already said, and this is the bearing. Okay, here there is a hub. Here there is a hub. This is the release lever. So I have already explained that this is the plate which is lined both sides with the friction material, and this is mounted in this hub. This is mounted in this hub. Okay, now this hub is free to move in this direction. Okay, in this direction along the axis of the driven shaft. Now there is a pressure plate which is mounted inside the clutch body, which is bolted to the flywheel. So this is the clutch body, and this is bolted to this flywheel. This is the flywheel, and this is the bolt arrangement. Okay, now this pressure plate. Now this pressure plate and this flywheel, as you see, it is attached to this engine crankshaft, and which in turn rotates with this engine with this crankshaft, this pressure plate and the flywheel. So this pressure plate, what it does is that it pushes the clutch, it pushes this clutch, it pushes the clutch plate towards the flywheel by means of this spring arrangement. Okay, so these are arranged radially inside the body. Now see over here that when you press this, so this is your foot, when you press this clutch pedal, when you press this clutch pedal over here, you press this clutch pedal, and when you press this clutch pedal, then this bearing, you can see this thrust bearing, this thrust bearing moves in this direction. This thrust bearing moves in this direction, towards the flywheel. Okay, because this pedal is being connected to this thrust bearing, you can see over here. Okay, by means of this linkage. Okay, so this thrust bearing, when this thrust bearing moves in this direction, then this is again being connected to this lever, you can see over there, this long end of this lever. Now when it moves in this direction, this lever, this lever moves in the inward direction. This lever moves in the inward direction. Okay, means in this direction. When this lever moves in the inward direction, this lever is being suspended by means of this pivot, you can see over here. This is the lever, this release lever. This lever is being suspended by means of this pivot, you can see over here. Okay, so this pivot is being connected to this. So this pivot is connected to this hub. Now when this pivot moves inward, again this plate, Okay, so this hub is connected to this pressure plate, and when this lever moves inwards, this pressure plate is forced to move in this direction. This pressure plate you can see over here, this is forced to move in this direction, or it moves away from the flywheel. Okay, and when it moves away from this flywheel, sorry, this is the pressure plate. Okay, this is not the pressure plate. This is the pressure plate, and when it moves in this direction, these springs you can see over here are being compressed. These springs are being compressed, and as a result, this driving shaft, this engine, and this driven shaft, its connection is being discontinued. It gets disattached. Okay, so there is disengagement between the driving and the driven shaft when we move this pedal, when we press this pedal of this clutch. Okay, so you have understood how this clutch mechanism works. Okay, and when again we release this clutch, and it moves to its original position. Okay, this thrust bearing, it is being moved back. So the springs are being moves to the original position, moved back to its original position, and this thrust bearing is being moved back. This thrust bearing moves in the original direction, in this direction, by these levers which are being connected. Okay, so the springs get extended, and the pressure plate, it pushes the clutch plate, and this pressure plate, it pushes this clutch plate towards in this direction, away from this flywheel. Okay, and again this connection between the driving and the driven shaft is being maintained. Okay, so this is how this friction, plate clutch, single disc clutch works. Now when we press this pedal, and this pressure plate moves in this direction, so you can see that in this clutch plate, okay, so a pressure acts in this direction. Suppose this is P pressure. Okay, it acts along these friction surfaces. Okay, and this pressure exerted by the spring, it provides the frictional force in the circumferential direction. It provides the frictional force in this circumferential direction, in this direction. Okay, in this direction. Okay, you can understand, not in this direction and perpendicular to this, in this direction. I hope you have understood this. Okay, so the frictional force acts in this direction when there is a relative motion between the driving and the driven shafts. And there is relative movement between the driving and the driven shafts. Okay, now when the torque, due to this frictional force which acts in the circumferential direction, it exceeds the torque to be transmitted. So the frictional torque, when the frictional torque exceeds the torque to be transmitted, then no slipping takes place, and the power is being transmitted from the driving shaft to the driven shaft. Okay, so this is the basic mechanism of this single plate clutch. Now see over here, this is the I have drawn this single plate clutch diagram. Okay, I have drawn a bigger diagram of the plate. So this is the circular plate, and these are the two surfaces, the friction surfaces, and this is the clutch plate. This is the clutch plate. Okay, now pressure is being applied in this direction, normal to this circular plate. Okay, in the normal direction. So in this direction the pressure acts. Okay, suppose in this direction, this is P. So we will consider an elementary ring of radius r and thickness dr. Okay, and thickness dr. Now the area of contact surface is equal to 2 pi r into dr. Okay, now axial force on the ring, this P, axial force on the ring that acts, axial force on the ring is equal to this, suppose this is dW is equal to P into pressure into area. So P into this 2 pi r into dr. Now frictional, this is the axial force. Now frictional force on the ring acting tangentially. So what is this frictional force is equal to mu into this normal force, mu into n, or Fr is equal to mu into this normal force or the axial force, that is dW. So mu into this P into 2 pi r into dr. Now this frictional torque acting on the ring is equal to F into R. Okay, so this will be mu P into 2 pi r dr into R. 2 pi mu P r square into dr. Now there are two cases, okay. One is that when there is uniform pressure, and uniform wear. So in the first case, that is uniform pressure. So when there is uniform pressure, we will use this expression that this is a single disc clutch which has external radii and internal radii of R1 and R2. So R1 is the external radii, and R2 is the internal radii. Then the intensity of pressure P. Intensity of pressure is W by pi now when we will integrate this frictional torque, okay, this T is equal to 2 pi mu P into this R square by dr. When we will integrate, we will get that it R cube by 3 from this internal and external radii. So R1 is the external radii, R2 is the internal radii. So 2 pi mu P into R1 q minus R2 q by 3. So again we will put this value of P in terms of R, this P in terms of R1 and R2. So 2 pi mu into W by so this we will write as mu into W into R. So R is the mean radius, so value of R will be 2 by 3 into R1 q minus R2 q by R1 square minus R2 square. So this is the case of this when there is uniform pressure. Okay, so this is the value mu WR, where R is 2 by 3 R1 q minus R2 q by R1 square minus R2 square, where R is the external radius and R2 is the internal radius of the friction faces. Now in case of uniform wear, the second case, so the P is the normal intensity of pressure. P is the normal intensity of pressure at a distance R from the axis of the clutch. At a distance of R from the axis of the clutch, P is the uniform pressure. P is the normal intensity of pressure, and now the intensity of pressure varies inversely with the distance. Intensity of pressure varies inversely with the distance. So you can write that PR is equal to constant. So P is equal to C by R. Now we will substitute the value of P over here. So dW will be P into 2 pi R into dr. Okay, so we'll place the value of P is C by R into 2 pi R into dr. So R and R cancels out. So it will be 2 pi C into dr. So now when we will integrate it from R1 to R2, it will come to be 2 pi C into R1 minus R2. So C will be W by this whole thing, 2 pi C into R1 minus R2. 2 pi C into R1 minus R2. Now when we will integrate the value of this total torque, T is equal to R1 to R2, 2 pi into mu into C into R into dr. Okay, so this value of torque, where it is, 2 pi mu into P R square into dr. So you will put the value of C over here from this one. So when we put the value of C and integrate it, the value will come to be W by 2 pi R1 minus R2. We will substitute the value of C, and by integration it will come to be R1 square minus R2 square into mu into pi. So after cancelling out, the final value will come to be half into mu W into R1 plus R2. So this will be the final value of frictional torque in case of uniform wear. Okay, so this is all about for today's class. Okay, we'll continue with this discussion on clutches. Next class we'll discuss about multiple disc clutch. Okay, so this is all for today's class. So thank you.